Hey, this is Cynthia, the vegan sleeper. I had one of those days yesterday where some things came up between phone calls and emails and messages and that kind of stuff. And I felt myself getting frustrated. And I was like, man, this day is just spiraling a little bit. And I didn't feel like I was in control. And normally, that would be a time when myself included would go, I'm going to go nosh on something, or go to food. Yesterday was a real revolutionary day. I had quite an epiphany yesterday. So I was talking to a very dear friend, and she told me this story. She said, have you ever heard the story about the lobster? And I kind of went, no. And she says, well, a lobster gets uncomfortable when it's outgrowing its shell. And it has to shed its shell, go hide under a rock for a while until the new shell grows, and then it comes out and it's got the new shell and it's comfortable again. And I thought, that's deep. That's really deep. And the more I thought about it is, yeah, I've been uncomfortable. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone lately and doing a lot of things that I normally wouldn't do. And I'm one of those people that if something is not sitting well with me and if I'm not calm with it, then it's like, and I was also told I needed to focus my energy on the things that are important and not to have a ton of side projects and all this other stuff that's not. I need to focus what I need. My trainer a long time ago, when I started losing weight, I was going, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And he was like, wait, stop for a minute. You need to focus one or two things, do those, and then move on. And it was like, when I get that energy, when I started losing weight, but even now, it's like I'm excited, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, but I need to do it well. And so I'm going to be under my rock for a while and doing some stuff and working on some projects. But back to the food part of it. So I was sitting there and I got off this phone call and I wasn't quite 100% sure what I was going to eat for dinner. And normally I would have gone out and said, not going to eat, just whatever, because I was in a rough headspace. And, normally it's grab something quick, or eat things that you necessarily aren't going to get you to your goals, I guess is the best way to put it. So I'd done a bunch of prep work on a bunch of vegetables and this teriyaki tofu that was sitting in the refrigerator, and I thought, to heck with it, I'm going to make myself a stir fry. I knew this was going to take like quite a few minutes. I mean, I was already hungry. This was like the last time I'd eaten was like noon. And so I was hungry. I hadn't had any snacks. I'd been on phone calls since 12 o'clock that day, literally 12 o'clock. From 12 o'clock to almost 7, I was on consistent phone calls or Zoom calls or whatever. And so I was like, I was hungry. And so, okay, I got out my little vegetables and started looking. I was like, oh, I can nosh on these while I'm doing it. So I had some jicama, was noshing on that, was making my stir fry. And my mom comes out and she goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm making some dinner, and I thought about it and it's like, you know what? I could have gone in that pantry and gotten something, but I thought, no, I'm going to do what I need to do to reach my goals. And so I made the stir fry. So I went out and was eating. It wasn't too bad, it was an experiment kind of thing, because I threw it together so quick, and it was actually pretty good. I was noshing on it, and another friend of mine called me, and I was kind of describing my day and needed to, some of these things that I was processing, and I was processing what had happened. And so after talking with that person, talking with a couple other people that I still had phone calls with later that day, I thought, no, I need to focus on what I need to focus on. I need to focus my energy on where it's going to do the best, not only for me, but for the people I'm trying to help, the people I'm trying to reach. And so I was given a challenge to do something, and I thought, I'm going to just do it. So I did this little custom thing real quick, put it together, shipped it off, and then I got on another phone call. And I was up pretty late on that phone call, but there was some more aha moments for me, which was awesome. I learned some more stuff. And it was like, you know what? I tell people, you got to put yourself first. And you do. You've got to take care of yourself. You have to drink your daily water. You have to eat right. You have to eat and take care of you to reach your goals. What is your why? You know, that's what I wrote about, is embracing your why. What is your why? Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do? And then it was sitting there going, I know these things that I want to accomplish, so I need to focus my energy on those things. I need to focus my energy on where I want to go and what I'm trying to do. Me eating junk or getting mad at eating junk is not going to get me where I want to go. It's not going to get me where I want to go. It's not going to get you where you want to go. You know, being healthy, losing weight. And I caution saying losing weight because here's why. We're not a number. We are trying to get healthy. We're not a number. So remember that as you're stepping on and off the scale. Sometimes you don't have that number loss. Maybe you have inches loss. Maybe you put on a pair of jeans you haven't worn in 20 years. That's awesome. You know, that's a victory. That's a huge victory. It's not always about that number on the scale. It's about victories and celebrating those victories. Instead of me going out and eating something that I shouldn't have or was not going to get me to my goals, I went out and made myself a stinking stir fry and ate some vegetables so I could bring down the hunger level and thought it through. So sometimes you got to stop and go, wait a minute. Stop the spiraling, stop the spinning, and just go, whoa, time out. I put myself in a timeout yesterday. Because number one, I didn't want to shoot my mouth off and say something that was going to get me in hot water. I didn't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. And I talked to some people to help me process through it. You know, we all have friends, and if you don't, there's people out there that, you know, whether it's somebody on Facebook or that's a e-friend or whatever, there's somebody that you can talk to. And sometimes you just need to say, I don't need you to solve this for me. I just need you to listen. Just need to listen. Sometimes just talking it through, you come up with a solution. Another good thing to do, just write it out. Don't censor yourself. Just get a piece of paper and just write it out. You know, you don't even have to read it, but sometimes just writing it out, it gets it from bumping around in your head. So anyway, that's my little TED Talk. Thanks for coming. But I wanted to do this as a recording versus a live, because sometimes when you're doing a live, I get distracted because I want to say hi to everybody, but I wanted to get my point across today. So that's why I did this as a video versus as a live, because sometimes we got to take that time and crawl under that rock, put ourselves in that time out, take a minute, think it through, process it through, because we're going through that change. We're getting uncomfortable in our own skin. And we got to go, whoa, wait a minute. I got to take time out and reevaluate and think this through. You know, grow that new shell, because we're all evolving, we're all changing. You know, I equivalate this story, and I wrote about this, but one of the things that I said is, if you watch the process of a butterfly, and when they're in the cocoon, when the caterpillar goes in the cocoon, in the chrysalis, you know, when they're busting out of that, you can't help them. You can't help them, because if they don't bust through that chrysalis on their own, they will be deformed. They will not reach their full potential. They will not make it into that beautiful butterfly. You know, it's just like chickens, you know, cracking out of the egg. They gotta do it. It's part of the process. So sometimes we gotta take that time to shed that old shell shed that old, bust through that chrysalis, we've got to take that time, and it's not an easy process. And sometimes it can be painful, it can be hard, but embrace that hard, because that's going to get you where you want to go. So anyway, I know this is a little serious, but I really needed to say this, because I needed to say it for me, but I also needed to say it for you guys, because we're all going through stuff. We're all going through stuff, and we're here. We need to love and care for each other and reach out. And if you don't reach out, you need to reach out. Sometimes you need that, just somebody to listen, and that's okay. And if you can't find somebody right away, hit record and record it. Talk to yourself. Look at yourself in the camera and talk to yourself. Sometimes just getting it out of your brain helps. Anyway, I love you guys, and I care about you, immensely care about you and where you're going in your journey, and want you to be successful. This process is not easy at times, and sometimes it's a lonely walk by yourself, crawling under that rock, but you got to do that because it's part of the process. Anyway, thank you to my friend who helped me realize this. Thank you to my other AP who let me just go off the rails. Thank you to my other friend last night that I talked to. You guys are awesome. I have like a team of people that are there supporting me, mentoring me. I care about you, and I thank you. So anyway, go be you and be awesome today, because you are already, but go be more awesome. Love ya. Peace.